What's going on, guys? we getting a bump of it here. You know what we're doing. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. All right, today we're shooting off the hip. I ain't gonna lie, I'm shooting off the hip because I've been thinking. I got so many podcasts out there. You know what I mean? So many ideas, so many things that we can talk about, but my mind ain't in it, bro. Right now, it's not in it. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna ad lib. This might be a little rambling, I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to be, but I'm also trying to get some content out there for you. So this can be like a conversation between you and I, whoever you are, whoever I am today. We're going to get into a topic that I wanted to talk about because I think it's something that, like, especially whiskey noobs, I hate to say noobs, but new people into whiskey, they always want to know, like, what should I keep at the house? You know, what bottles should I have? What should I do? So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about a bunch of random BS that I've had on my mind for a while. So, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a happy new year. You know what I mean? Hope you're having a happy new year and all them things. You know, I really appreciate all the support, like always. We're gonna talk a little bit, but we're not gonna do too much housekeeping because it's more of the same. As of this recording, I'm having my first good day in a minute. It's been a little rough, dude. Like, once you get through a couple of treatments, it starts wearing you down real fast. So you don't bounce back as fast. So anyway, I say all that to say, as of this episode will be out before then, so that's good. January 9th is a Tuesday. That will be my last treatment. Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Ready to get it over with. Can't wait. I'm just ready to get back to life. You know what I mean? It's going to be different, obviously. It's going to be a different sort of life. It's not going to be as willy-nilly as the last life because, you know, that one was scary. You know what I mean? Not that I did something to make it do what it did, but it was a little scary. So, man, I am all high tech today. I was trying to hook up the podcast thing, the receptacle or whatever you want to call it, to my computer, so that I could do a little computering, background music and stuff before. But I don't know, it didn't work out that way. I don't know why I can't get it to work, but I can't. Anyway. So I'm feeling pretty good today. A little heady, which means a little out of it in my head. I ate some food for lunch, and then it like dragged my ass down. It was weird, man. I was like, I had to go sit down for a minute just after eating. But I was able to come to the shed. I did a partial video that's fixing to go up on YouTube, and then I did another video that I'm going to put up real soon. And smoking some bacon as of right now. If you have never, and this is not a paid sponsorship by them, if you've never been to Porter Road, you need to go to Porter Road. They have some really amazing cuts of meat. I've been really looking into meat cuts and like sustainability and, you know, stuff like that, regenerative farms and stuff like that. I've been really looking into that because that's part of this new life plan that I'm on, where I'm, you know, trying to eat more regenerative and stuff like that, because they say it's better for your body. I don't know. That's it. That's all I had. Feeling pretty good today. Little, like I said, a little crazy, but not too bad. But I'm smoking some beef bacon. Yeah. Because, you know, pork is disgusting, right? I know everybody. What are you, Jewish? You know, what are you, halal? No, I'm not. If you really study pork, it is one of the most disgusting cuts of meat in the world. Besides dog or something like that, you know what I mean? And everybody eats it. But then you're like, well, what about bacon? Well, bacon is from the belly. Why can't you get beef belly? Same thing. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. We can talk about that at a different date. You can DM me and we'll talk about it. Anyway, so one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about was we had talked about samples, getting samples, sending samples to people. I have, I'm looking at them right now. They're in my shed. I have samples from two really cool people. One of them is Your Drinking Buddy. He has a channel on YouTube. Pretty cool guy. He does blind tastings. And so, he sent me these samples. They're labeled A, B, C, D. And then he sent me a envelope. And he says, let me get it real fast. Hold on. It's literally right there. So it says, Drinking Buddy, try to find the imposter. You get 1 point for type, what type of whiskey it is. 1 point for the proof, of ±5. 1 point for is it finished. 1 point for a distillery or a non-distiller producer, which would be story time. Story time is an NDS, which means they have whiskey, they just don't produce it, right? They still amazing stuff, right? And 4 points if you find the imposter. 20 points in total. Good luck. And so in the envelope, it has the answers of what these 4 whiskeys are. So I'm really intrigued about that. I don't do double blinds. Let me put this back on. I don't do double blinds. This would be considered a triple blind almost. I don't do those very often because, I just don't. And I need to, because that's how you get your palate, to understanding what a specific whiskey or what a type of whiskey is. I'm going to guarantee you that all of these are American whiskeys, aka bourbon or rye. You know what I mean? It might be some Found North in there because he's really into Found North, which is a Canadian whiskey. And I'm all about these new Canadian whiskey stuff. So that to me was pretty cool. And then I got another one from Old Fashioned Ways ++. I don't know why it says ++. I need to ask him about the ++ part. That's his little moniker on YouTube as well. And he sent me some that were, whenever he does a video and he does a bottle opening, he picks people in the audience that comment or whatever. I always try to comment. If I subscribe to you on YouTube and you have a video, I will try to comment on the video, even if it's just good job, because it helps the algorithm or whatever they want to call it. So I always comment on his, and I'm always yeah, that's a good whiskey, or no, that I don't care for that one. I've never had that one. So he sent me 3 samples. I know what they are. I can actually tell you. Hold on. We're nilly-willying this one, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is rye whiskey, but it's a light whiskey. So it's rye, RY3. I don't know if you've ever seen those. RY3, light 16-year-old light whiskey. So that's kind of cool. And then he sent the Garrison Cowboy 2023. The hazmat one. It's 140.6, I think, proof. And then the Penelope Toasted. So it's MGP, but Penelope Toasted. So that's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a side-by-side of the Garrison Cowboy that I have from 22 and compare it to the 23. Here's the thing. The doc says I still can't be drinking whiskey for a minute. It's been a couple weeks already. I'm not fiending, like I don't need it, but this is part of my job, is to drink whiskey. I know, it sucks to have that job, right? But, what is going on? Okay. Anyway, it's part of my job. Not my job. I don't get paid to do any of this. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's part of the whole thing. I have so much whiskey here that I need to taste and review, and I still haven't tasted those Canadian whiskeys that I have in the house that I got from oh my gosh. Yeah, it's gone. It's all good. Richard. I got them from Richard. And then, yeah, it's just crazy. Okay. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about is I got gifted, and I don't know if I talked to you about this on the last one. I haven't looked or listened to the other podcast, and I'm sorry if those are shit. I'm really sorry. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get back out there. Hopefully within 2.5 more weeks, I will be doing live video again. I know it's gonna suck because I am bald, as bald as I've ever been. No beard. Yeah, I look like, I don't know, the back end of somebody. Anyway, it's kind of scary, but we're working through it. So, anyway, so hopefully I'll have video out with some interviews with people, and that'll kind of diversify the stuff, and I won't feel so rushed into making content, and I'll be able to do more research because I can't even open a book right now, dude. I can't. I've tried multiple times. I have this big Texas whiskey episode I want to do. I can't even do it. I cannot open the book, man. I start reading it, the words start jumbling all up on the page. It's not just my ADHD. It's like my head isn't in it. So I have to be 100 with it. So I just pull back and just be like, okay, I can't do that right now. So there will be a time. There will be a time, and we'll be good. So I guess let's get into it. Oh no. I have one other thing. What I was going to say was I got gifted from Chris Conrad at Badmo Legacy Barrels. Thank you, Chris. He is the sponsor. Will always be the sponsor, even if he doesn't want me to be the sponsor. Even if he doesn't want to sponsor anymore, he's going to be the sponsor. I'm sorry. You're stuck with me now. I have actually reached out to a number of other, not similar. They're not similar to Badmo. None of them are. The only one that would be similar would be 1030. And I don't know if I reached out to Ian or not, but I'm sure he would do something. But anyway, I might reach out to him just because I want to have different content for you guys, to if you want to go, because it was a whiskey glass, and it was a different type. It's not like a Glencairn. It's a little bit different. And I reached out to them for one about getting a monogrammed glass, but then also to see if they wanted to be a sponsor. And they got back with me and said, yeah, let me see if I can mess with the picture that I gave him to make it fit on the glass or whatever. And he hadn't got back with me yet. So it is what it is. You have to shoot your shot with all these people. I've reached out to a number of different people, and everybody's just like, I don't, nothing's, dead air. So we're just going to keep grinding. I will tell you, on my podcasting app, where you guys leave comments and stuff like that on Spotify, I got my first negative comment. Yeah, that's awesome. Why do you say that's awesome? No, because it is. Because you think about it. Somebody's out there is listening to me and hating it. And I love it. I love it. Haters gonna hate, right? But at the same time, you're doing something if somebody doesn't like it. Right? Somebody's going to complain. Somebody's going to moan. Somebody's going to get angry about what you say. Dude, that is like the best props you can give somebody, is saying that they suck. Especially in this kind of platform. And the only comment he made, and it is explicit, but he said, bullshit. That's all he said. I was like, touche. Possibly could be. Who knows? No, I try not to lead y'all down there. Hold on, I need a drink of water. I need a drink of water, man. It's thirsty time. But I was like, dude, he literally gave me a bullshit. I was like, okay, cool. And then I got another one that said great episode right above it. So I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I get the good and the bad. But the bad is just as good as the good. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I want 5-star reviews, and I want good comments, and I want all of those things. I want you guys to, build me up and not break me down. But, that to me was so awesome. I was so happy. I was like, what the hell? It just made me laugh. It just made me laugh. Because that's the thing. Like, there's going to be haters out there, and there's going to be trolls. You know, people just trolling you to be stupid. And I'm like, whatever, dude. It doesn't matter. You still listened, or at least clicked on it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. If you think I suck, that's fine. Go find somebody else. I don't care. You know what I mean? Hopefully you don't. Hopefully I'm making a decent enough content where you can be like, hey, that's pretty cool. He's doing something pretty cool. You know, I'm not expecting to be Bourbon Pursuit. I'm not. You know, I think they're the number one whiskey podcast or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. Screw all them. You know what I mean? Like Bourbon Pursuit, they're good guys. Don't get me wrong, they're good guys. And they're actually producing whiskey and doing shit like that. And they got Fred Minnick with them. And anyway, they've got a lot of backing. You know what I mean? They've got the backing. I don't have no backing. The only people backing me are the ones listening. You know what I mean? And Chris over at Batman, he backs me every once in a while. He backs me all the time, but I meant like financially. You know what I mean? We did pretty good. He helped me out quite a bit on the whole Shaman 5 thing. He was adding it to orders that they didn't use and stuff like that, but I really appreciate it, brother. You know what I mean? Like, help a brother out. That's what we're all for, man. Like, let's just help each other out. Like, quit being so weird, man. It's weird. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, let's move into what I was trying to talk about before. I got an infinity barrel. Yes, from Batmo. It's amazing. I love it. It's sitting right here in my shed. What I did was, you'll have to watch the video. Go watch the video on my YouTube, please. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Leave a comment, a good one, a bad one. I don't care. Leave a comment. It does not show my face, so it's not up yet. Well, it'll be up by the time this is out, so it'll be up. It's called Filling a Badmo Infinity Barrel or something like that. It'll be something like that. It'll be one of the newest ones. Anyway, so what I did is I had 2 bottles of malt new make. One from Andalusia. Like I keep telling y'all, get new makes from Andalusia, fill these barrels up, and make some good whiskey. Anyway, and then another one from Santa Fe Spirits, which is Colkegan. And it was what they call their pure malt. It doesn't matter. It's clear. It's like moonshine, whatever you want to call it. They use it for like cocktails that you would use vodka in because it's pretty neutral tasting. I got to taste it when I went there. Oh Lord, it's been a couple years ago actually. We're trying. I mean, we were planning on going there over fall break, which was like October or something like that. And then, you know, cancer came and he was like, "Oh, I don't think so." I was like, "Okay, guess not." So we're planning on going up there during spring break. Tentatively. I don't even know. I haven't worked in like 3 months. You think I got money to do that? No. I gotta get back to work. But right now I can't. I can't even hardly stand up. So anyway, so it's really, I've been wanting to go for a while. Go back up there. But anyway, Santa Fe is beautiful. It's a beautiful country. But, so what I did is I took both of those bottles and I poured them into the infinity barrel. And then I had, Jesse from Stillet, you know, he gave me 2 samples. Well, he gave me a number of samples, but 2 samples that I could put in there. Because what I'm trying to do is make it like a single malt infinity barrel for the first run, right? Do like single malts. I think that would be fun. And then just kind of pull off of it as needed. So they weren't single malt. Well, one was an LME, so it's liquid malt extract, right? That he made a wash out of and distilled, or what, I remember what he did, but I don't remember exactly what he was trying to make a really fast malt whiskey, and he did, and it was really new. It was all real clear. He had aged it on Balcones oak or something like that. It was like a 2-ounce sample. Poured that in there, and then he had another one that was a corn whiskey, malted corn whiskey. And I thought, well, that would give him a little bit of sweetness, so that might be cool. So I chunked that in there too. Oh, sure, it has lyrics. Let me turn it down a little bit more. Anyway, So I'm using a new royalty-free music site. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It says it's royalty-free, so no trademarks allowed. But yeah, no, it's super crazy. That's weird. So I did that. So that's cool. And then what I just did on the latest video, which you're going to need to watch it anyway, was I found 3 single malts that I had, and I poured 4 ounces of those because they're like a sherry single malt or whatever like that. I poured those in there too. So I have the little notebook to the side, and I have it all written down of everything that I'm throwing in there. So it's kind of keeping track of it, and then it's going to sit in there and age for a little while, and then it's we'll taste it and see what happens. You know what I mean? I feel like it'll be really fun. And because it's going to get some of that oak influence from the bad malt. You know what I mean? And then when I finish it, I'm going to do like what they call a Solero cask, which means I'm going to take, once I get it almost filled with single malt or whatever, I'm going to let it age for 6-8 months. You know what I mean? Just let it sit and age. And then I'm going to pull a bottle off of it, like 750 mils off of it. And then I'm going to start Soleroing in other whiskeys, maybe corn whiskeys or something else on top of that to change the profile. And then by the end, we're going to get super peaty. We're going to get like real ham, bacon, germ, stuff like that. It's going to be fun. Okay, we have talked and talked. Now let's talk about the question at hand. What bottles of whiskey should you have on your bar at any given time? Does my voice sound weird? I feel like my voice sounds weird. I feel like I'm talking like this. It's very strange. I don't know. If I am talking like that, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. So what should you have on your bar for cocktails, for neat pours, for friends, for yourself, daily drinkers, stuff like that? Because people ask me all the time, like I did with my top 5. They ask me all the time, what's your favorite whiskey? Well, the favorite whiskey is the whiskey I'm drinking right now. You know what I mean? That's my favorite. I drink so many different whiskeys that I can't tell you one specific. I know whiskeys that I've bought 3 times that I like, that are really good if I just want something simple to drink. You know what I mean? I'm not have to think about it. But right now I haven't had whiskey in a couple weeks, and I'm only thinking of like the unicorn whiskeys to drink because who knows? You know what I mean? Life is short. Life is really short, guys. So, I don't know. Each day could be different. You know what I mean? But I'm going to give you a list, and it's not like a, top 10. It's not going to be that. I would say it's kind of regional as well. Because if you're in a certain region, you're not going to be able to get, like, let's say you live in Scotland. It's going to be difficult for you to get Texas whiskey in Scotland. Not so you can't do it, because I've seen Balcones in Scotland. I mean, I haven't personally seen it because I've never been there, but I've seen people recording in Scotland saying, hey, look, there's Balcones. So you can get it, but I'm just saying, like, it's going to be pretty regional. Let's say you're in Hawaii. You're only going to be able to get so much of this, right? Or New Zealand, you're only going to be able to get so much of this. So, okay, let's get started. First and foremost, you're going to need a budget bourbon. Yeah, just a budget bourbon. I can give you some examples of ones. These would be bourbons that you would take a neat pour of, right? It'll stand up to an ice ball. It'll stand up to a cocktail. And probably my number one, my go-to, Wild Turkey 101. It's everywhere. You can find it everywhere. Any bar's going to have it. You know what I mean? It has a high enough rye content to where if you make it like old fashioned or whatever with it, it's going to stand out. Okay. But if you want something else that's not that, I would say maybe try Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. It's cherry forward. It's really good. I enjoy it. Another one is Early Times. Early Times Bottled and Bond. A lot of these are bottled and bond, but the reason is they're 100 proof. You know what I mean? They're 100 proof, so they'll stand up to the ice ball. They'll stand up to the cocktail, but you can still have a nice, neat pour with them too. And one of my personal favorites is Old Grandad 114. It's 114 proof. It'll stand up to anything, brother. I guarantee it. My seal of approval. You want a weeder? You want me to throw a weeder in there? Go ahead and get you, if you can find a Weller Special Reserve. Some people can't find it. Some people it's like $80. Don't buy it for $80. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for 80. It's worth it for 30, maybe. $30. But if you can't find the Weller, good makers, like a makers, they have that Makers 101 now. I don't know how expensive it is, but also the Makers French Oak is really good. But that's getting a little more nichey, you know what I mean? Like you're talking, these are baselines. So Makers or Larceny. Larceny is actually pretty good. Not the barrel proof. You're not going to be able to find the barrel proof for cheap, and this is not a daily drinker. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is going to be the best. Anyway, so okay, so we got that. Benchmark. If you can find like the Benchmark Foolproof, that would be a good one. It would hold up to a cocktail. Really, really good. It's like $20. If you want a good rye whiskey, let's move on to rye. The standout ryes are going to be like Wild Turkey rye, the 101. That one's really good. Old Forester rye, the 100. That one's really good. I'm actually looking at my shelf right now. One that you would not think of. Powers Irish Rye. Probably one of the best ryes I've had. Seriously, I will buy another bottle. I don't have one right now. I will buy one. But I'm sorry, there's like a ruckus going on. Okay, there was a ruckus. Sorry, there was a ruckus outside. Another one, if you are Texas close, is the Still Austin Rye. It's really good. That one slaps. What did I say? Yeah, that's probably it on basic ryes. You know what I mean? And why would you need a basic rye in your catalog? Because to me, a good rye whiskey is better in a cocktail. That's just personal opinion. I prefer like I'll put a bourbon on an ice ball, whereas a rye is good in a cocktail. And that's just my personal opinion. I will have rye neat and with an ice ball, but very rarely. It's mainly in a cocktail, and it shows through. It shows through a lot. So that's where you get a lot of that flavor, with a little bit of sweetness. You know, especially like an old fashioned, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of bitterness to it. It just makes that rye spice push forward. So good, so good. Okay, so let's move on to single malt. Okay, I didn't say Scotch. I said single malt. Okay. So let's depending upon your area, a single malt might be a Scotch. Like me being in Texas, there is single malt all over the place. American single malt, Andalusia, Balcones, number of others I can't think of course, and it doesn't matter, right? So find a good local single malt I mean, good. So you're going to need to go try it because you guys are already going out to the distilleries, right? That's part of your homework was to go to a distillery near you and do a flight, buy a bottle. Remember? No? Huh. You guys aren't doing your homework or what? Anyway, a good single malt. And that is mainly going to be a special occasion when you have friends over. You're going to pour them and say, hey, look, this came from X. This came from right down the road. This came from Cedar Ridge, right? This came from Idaho. This one came from Westland, from Oregon. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care which one it is. Find a good one. Dive into it, right? It's great for the bar. It's great for a neat pour, mainly. You can put it on an ice ball, but a neat pour, mainly. Unless you're talking Andalusia, cast strength striker, or something like that. Then it needs an ice ball, for sure. That barbecue is going to be hot. It's going to be a hot barbecue. But, okay. So let's move on to a scotch. A scotch that you need to have on your shelf. Now, this is going to be, obviously, my personal opinion. So, take that for what it is. You know what I mean? I think for a good blended scotch that you can make a scotch and soda with, you can have it neat, you can have it on an ice ball, it's monkey shoulder. Some people don't like it because they get that baby sick character, which is just green malt funk. It's not baby sick, it's just malt funk. Some people get turned off by that. So then if you don't like that, get Glenmorangie 10. The orange label Glenmorangie. The baseline Glenmorangie, right? You can go Glenfiddich, you can go Glenfarclas, you can go Glenlivet, you know what I mean? You can go any of the Glens. But to me, Glenmorangie has like an orange note in it that's really nice. It would hold up to a cocktail too. It's like 46%. It's good stuff. If you want to go a little more sherried, go Aberlour. Right? Go Aberlour. It's a little more sherried if you want that. But for a blended scotch, it would be kind of difficult. You would need to do like a Johnny Walker or something like that, which those can get expensive, especially if you're not getting the red. They can get pretty expensive. I'm looking again. Almost all the scotches I ever peated, so I wouldn't. Now, if you want to go down the peated route and get a basic peated whiskey that's really good and it's super light on the peat, it's Highland Park 12. Highland Park 12. It's like a $60 bottle. That all these are conclusive to what they are. You know what I mean? If you want to go a little more peated, you can do Lagavulin 16. Run you about $100 though. You want to go a little deeper, danker, go get the Lefroy Select. Not the 10, the Select. It's dank. It's dank, like a basement. And then you start getting into Ardbeg and, stuff like that. And, we can talk about that. We can go deep in the peat if you want to, but we're not going to. You need a base peated scotch because you might want to make a penicillin. You might want to make, there's no telling. So, get you a base peated. Something real light. Kulila, Talisker, something like that. You don't want nothing super crazy. One that I really like and I've never bought a bottle of, and it hurts my heart, is Bowmore. Right? They have a Bowmore 12, Bowmore 18. I've tried it multiple times. Had blind tastings with it. Thought it was something really old and super briny, and it wasn't. It was Bowmore 12. It's crazy. Anyway, moving on. So we got your basic bourbon. We've got a rye. We've got a single malt, and we've got a scotch, right? Now let's move to, these are going to be like, those can be your daily sippers too. They're not so much your, you're not pulling them out for for friends, unless it's like the American single malt one that's like, hey, I got this from the distillery the other day or whatever. Like, these are going to be more your daily sippers. Like, just, you need a drink. Okay, so now let's get into a bottle that is a little more expensive and is something you would pull out for friends or at a party, have a little whiskey tasting with, something like that. Let's go let's start at the beginning again. Let's go with bourbon. You're going to want to get you a Russell's Reserve single barrel pick. Yes, all day. Russell's single barrel picks, which is Wild Turkey, obviously. A good alternative to that would not blow people away is going to be any Maker's Mark special stave single barrel. It's like a special stave release or whatever. It's a different type of Maker's bottle. You'll know it. It's special. It's Stave Selects or something like that. They're really good. Any one of them that you get are going to be good. So don't be like, oh, this one says brown sugar toffee caramel. This one says banana orange crust. No, it doesn't matter. Just get one. And then any sort of single barrel that you can find from a specific distillery. Let's say you like Jim Beam a lot. If you're really into basic Jim Beam and you like that profile, then maybe look for a Booker's. You know what I mean? Booker's comes out 4 times a year. It's about $100, could be a little more, but it's really cool. It's a special batch, has special numbering on it. It's a pretty big deal. Find one of them. They're going to be cast strength, so have a little water, put it on an ice ball, but those are the types of whiskeys that you kind of sit with, you know what I mean? But they're not like super unicorny to where you're like, oh man, I'm never going to find this bottle again. We'll get to those. So that's what I would say. Oh, if you can't find a Russell's private barrel pick, get Rare Breed, which is their barrel proof Wild Turkey. Super good. Okay, so let's move on to American Single Malt and Scotch. We'll just kind of put those two together. If you can find a distillery exclusive American Single Malt, that would be the one I would pick up. Andalusia does a bunch of them. Balcones does a bunch of them. There's a lot out there. I would refer you to like Lost Lantern or Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. To find single barrel picks and stuff like that. These are going to run you anywhere from $100 to $150, depending upon what you want to get. And you get to basically pick your profile. Like if you get with Lost Lantern, you can get a good McCarthy's for $80. It's a single barrel cast strength, 6-year-old sherried Scotch. You know what I mean? You can get that. Or all right, sorry about that. You know what it's like, right? Okay, where was I? I had to leave. My donkey got out. Anyway, long story. For some reason, Opus Gate, when it gets wet, I don't know if it's the little, what is that thing called? The solar panel. It gets weird and the gate won't close all the way. Anyway, where were we? We were on to finding a good Scotch or American single malt. Yeah, going to Lost Lantern, going to one of those places, unless you can find a distillery exclusive, that's going to be your best bet. And if you want a good Scotch, you're going to want to hire, and I hate to say this because I'm not an age statement fool, but you want a higher age statement, go get the Highland Park 18. It's really good. I have one of the older bottlings of it. Oh my god, I should have saved some. I really should have. It was so good. The Springbank 18, amazing. Literally amazing. One of my favorite whiskeys of all time. Yeah, I said it. If I can find another one, I would. Okay, so So let's go to... Okay, so these whiskeys that I was talking about, they're going to be ones that you bring out to a friend. You show them, like, say, hey, this is a cool bottle that I have. Do you want to try it? Like, these are like, hey, try this, right? Now we're going to get into the controversial part of it. We're going to get into the more unicorn or rare whiskeys that I don't say you have to have, because you can have basic whiskeys and have a great time. You know what I mean? Don't think you can't. But having a special whiskey makes all the difference, especially if you entertain a lot. If you have a bunch of people over for parties or get-togethers or whatever, having that one bottle that you can go back to, or a couple, by this time you'll probably have a couple that you go back to and you're like, oh my gosh, this one is so amazing. Try the smallest sample of it so I can not, lose all of it. So when you go to bourbons, let's just start there. I need a drink, man. Okay. Okay. With bourbons, it's going to be difficult, man. You've got your Blantons, you've got your Wellers, you've got all of those. They should not be unicorns. They shouldn't. They should be a $50 bourbon that's good, don't get me wrong. But they shouldn't be unicorns. They should be, they should just be what they are. A higher end, like that second tier ones. Now then, there is the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, which has the George T. Stagg, the William LaRue Weller, the Thomas H. Handy, the Eagle Rare 17, all of those. Yeah, I get those. Those are a little bit different. You know what I mean? They are different. And they should be priced accordingly. $100, $150 at the most. Not $1,000. You know what I mean? And then you run into your pappies, and nobody wants a pappy. Believe me, I don't know how many times I have to say this. It hurts my head. But just because it says a name on it doesn't make it a great whiskey, right? I've had some amazing whiskeys for some really crappy distilleries. You know what I mean? And I've had some really crappy whiskeys from some of the most expensive distilleries in the world. It's just how it is. You're either making good stuff here or not. So, and it's all on personal preference, obviously. To me, and I think I've said this ad nauseum, I'm sure, like Pappy Van Winkle 23 year is like you're eating the oak barrel. That's what it's like. It's literally oak. It's all you taste. Oak, oak, oak. So is that yummy? Is that yum? I don't know. It's not to me. If you love oak, then maybe it's for you. But I wouldn't pay $6,000 for it. I wouldn't pay $2,000 a shot for it. Screw off. I'm not doing it. It's not worth it to me. To some people it is, If it's worth that to you, then more power to you. So let's talk about, a good unicorny bourbon that you can find. I would say any distillery exclusive that you find, like let's say you go to Kentucky and you're able to pick up a Four Roses single barrel pick, that's going to be a unicorn. What they call allocated, right? That to me, it's the experience as well. Say, hey, I hand pulled this bottle. I pulled it. I poured it myself. I poured it into the bottle myself. That to me means a whole lot more than, hey, I got this bottle for $5,000. I hand poured this one. Yeah, it's only $150 or whatever, but I hand did it myself at the distillery. Made the process, did all the things, dipped it in the wax or whatever. That to me is worth hundreds of dollars just in the story. Because you got to think, whiskey is all about the story. If you don't have a good story with your whiskey, it's not worth it, right? That's why Scotch has so much mystique behind it, because it has so much of a story. Bourbon is so new. really, if you think about it, bourbon is so new. Like, I'm looking at this Lefroy box, and it says 1815. Right? You know how old bourbon is? 1933. After Prohibition. Because they shut down all the distilleries. There's a couple. There's a couple that are older. Turn of the century. The Scotch has over 100 years on us. Over 100. They went through a prohibition as well, but the distilleries didn't lose out. Highland Park established 1788. I'm serious. This is so crazy. It is literally 1700s. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. So another one that you could, so on bourbon, you can just, anything from the distillery, anything you're going to find, like, if you can find, a older age statement, like a Russell's 13 or some cellar aged, a one-off type thing, that's what you're going to want to go for. If you're looking to impress, if you're doing that. But like, if you want to find a single malt that will knock somebody's socks off, Suntory, Yamazaki, Hakushu, even the Hibiki, it'll knock people's socks off for sure. If you can find it, it's expensive. I think the Yamazaki is up to like $150 now. It's crazy. It's good juice, but I don't know if it's worth $150. I mean, if it is. I hate to say that. It is. Nika's doing some amazing stuff. Go find some Nika. It's harder for like single malt because you can use higher age statements. And you get a 21-year-old Yamazaki, it's $2,000. I'm serious. And people pay it all day long. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where that's at. Now rye is kind of weird because like rye whiskey, there is some old stated rye whiskeys, like some BTAC that's old, Sazerac 17 I think is what it is, or something, whatever. Thomas H. Handy is pretty old and expensive, but like really ryes, they're just I think 10 12 years old, and that's about it. 17 maybe, but so it's kind of weird that rye doesn't really fall into that category as much. It's more the distillery that's like promoting this particular rye. I would say if you want a great rye, that's a unicorny rye, Leopold Brothers. If you can find a Leopold Brothers 3-chamber, just wait, it's coming, brother. Any barrel proof like Elijah Craig, Larceny, those aren't really unicornies, but they're not released that often. But if you want to like all the limited release stuff is going to be what you're going to look for. And these are whiskeys that you pour a dram of, share it, put the bottle up. You don't sit there with the bottle at the end of the night and finish it off. I mean, you can. I mean, I would not have a problem with it. But at the same time, I'm not the number chaser here. Okay, so let's move on to other things that you need to have in your little whiskey repertoire, right? You need to make some simple syrup. Yeah, I'm serious. Make your own simple syrup. It's so easy. 1 cup of water to 1 cup of sugar. I would use Demerara or raw sugar. That's just me. I do a little bit more sugar. I do like 1.5 because I want it to be shelf stable to where you don't have to put it in the fridge, and less watery. Or I boil it down a little more. Let it capitalize a little bit. You don't have to do that. It's just something that I do. It creates more caramel flavor. Sometimes I actually put a little bit of vanilla in my simple syrup. Or you can put maple syrup in there, do maple syrup, whatever, however you want to do it. I'm going to be doing a lot more honey syrups, because that's what I'm going to have to start drinking, and maple syrups, which maple syrup is already a syrup. So honey, you want to make it into a syrup because it will stick and it won't dissolve at all. You put it in your drink and there's like a glob of honey at the bottom. So anyway, honey creates a different profile though, so you have to be very careful with it and only use sparingly. Whereas maple syrup is a little more lenient. It's more like a simple syrup. Another thing that you're going to want on your cart is a jigger. Something that'll do 1.5 ounces and 2 ounces, 3/4 of an ounce, whatever. Possibly a shaker, like that kit, that has the shaker, the strainer, the basket weaver, all the stuff. You want to make sure you have one of those on hand, just in case somebody wants a whiskey sour or something like that. And then not the last thing, but another thing you're going to have on your cart and ready to go is some bitters. Different types of bitters. Get a couple different types. The number one ones to go to, Angostura, of course. That one is amazing. I love it. I like to put way too much of it. It's amazing. Reagan's orange bitters, not just Reagan's. Angostura makes one, but Reagan's is really good. Orange bitters. And then a Peychaud's bitters. It's brand specific. Peychaud's bitters. It's like a reddish color. It's really good for whiskey sours. It's a little more herbal, I think, and less cinnamon allspicy. And then I do a black walnut bitters, but you don't have to do that. You can get chocolate. You can get ancho chili. You can get, oh my gosh, there's so many different bitters out there. You can experiment with them. But the black walnut gives like a earthiness to your cocktail that you're making or whatever. And then you're also going to want to have, maybe some gin. I'm not big into gin, but if I was that guy, I would be telling you to like a good gin, Hendrick's or hold on. Hendrick's or The Botanist. The Botanist, it's an Isla gin, so that's pretty cool. It's not peated or anything. It's just a gin. And then you're gonna want possibly a vodka. Doesn't matter, Tito's or Grey Goose if you want to get fancy. It doesn't matter. It's freaking vodka, right? It doesn't taste like anything. I like to have a brandy. Don't get me started. I use the Andalusia brandy. It's not, I mean, I don't want to say it's nothing fancy. It's beautiful brandy. If you're into brandy. See, brandy, we can talk about this for a second. Brandy, I've been trying different types of brandy, right? Brandy is a different beast. It's not vanilla, caramel, blah, blah, blah. It's more fruit and more floral. You know what I mean? So, like, it has way different flavors, but it's very similar, but way different. You know what I mean? So, we just have to kind of understand that. The brandy would be there for, like, if you want to make a brandy old-fashioned, something like that. Rum, a good rum. I don't really know rum, Ecuador or Smith & Cross or something like that. Again, most of the local distilleries are going to have a rum that they make just because it's a byproduct. It's a product that they can make when they're not running something else. And then one that is highly overlooked is absinthe. I said it. Absinthe is highly overlooked. You do an absinthe rinse on a cocktail, make you a grave digger, and do an absinthe rinse. Oh my gosh. Makes the cocktail. I'm not big into cocktails, but I do enjoy some every once in a while. The only cocktail I really drink is old fashioned, and it's barely an old fashioned. You know what I mean? It's barely. It's just sweetened up whiskey at this point. That's all it is. But I will say that having all this stuff at your disposal makes it that much easier for you to get people into whiskey. And it's funny because, like, let's say your wife, your spouse, your better half, your whatever, your good friend, that your roommate, whatever, doesn't like whiskey, but they enjoy a good cocktail, right? You start making them whiskey forward cocktails. You can look them up. You can look at my cocktail episode. You start making those and pronouncing the whiskey and saying, hey, this was made with Jack Daniel's single barrel, whatever, doesn't matter. It was made with that. Or, hey, it was made with Balcones, or, you know, and then you start showcasing that and then they will be like, oh, that's cool. What is that note that I'm getting? That vanilla or that this? And you say, that's from the whiskey. So then they start getting more and more intrigued into it, and then they want to try the whiskey. Then you give it to them on an ice ball, and then they try it, and they're like, oh, that's not bad. And then that's how you get people into whiskey, through cocktails. And I mean, cocktails have their place, don't get me wrong, they do. But too much sweetness in the cocktail just kind of takes it away for me. But, you know, that's just me talking. Okay. So, one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about real fast was having a collection. Your whiskey collection. All right. What do you do with it? You know, let's say you have a number of whiskeys. I'm going to say 20. Let's say 20 whiskeys. To some people, that's way too many. To other people, that's what's on the top of their bar cart. You know what I mean? On the top of their shelf. That's the ones they have open that they daily drink out. Or not. When I say daily, I don't mean daily. You know what I mean? Like, these are the ones that they drink out of a lot. So, what do you do with your collection? Do you use it? Do you wait for it to... Because there's a lot of people out there that collect whiskeys. I know. I'm partially one of them. Like, I have, over this winter, I've accumulated a number of whiskeys, and I'm like, I can't even drink those. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a little strange. I had to pull the reins back a little bit. But one of the things I will say is, like, these whiskeys are going to be drank. They're there. They're ready to be drank. I'm ready to open up any bottle in there for whoever. It's just right now I'm on quarantine, so who's going to come over and drink my whiskey, right? So it's kind of like one of those things where you have to be in it, you know? So what I would tell you, if you're having a collection being more than 20, if you're going to have a collection, you need to have a place to put the collection. And you need to be able to showcase it, and you need to be able to look at it, and you need to be able to, not spreadsheet, but you need to have a list of everything you have. Because what will happen is you will go to the liquor store and you will buy a bottle. You're like, I don't have this one. You get back to the house and you got it. So now you have two. Now, I know having two bottles of the same whiskey is not horrible. But when you have a number of whiskeys and you have two of the same bottle, guess what? You just wasted. You're wasting money, basically. If you're not going to open it right away, you're wasting money. You're like, okay, I'll give you a very personal example. I have enough whiskey in my collection, and I'm not gloating. I'm not throwing shade or whatever. I have enough whiskey right now to where if I stopped buying whiskey, I could drink whiskey every day for the rest of my life until I died. Yeah. And probably still have some. If I can share it with people too. I don't even know. I have a list of all of them, which I know is so nerdy, and I'm sorry, and we can go through the list if you want. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm using my list to record. So, but we can go through them. I have no problem with that. I like to do whiskey tastings for people, so I want to have a selection of whiskeys there to where I can say, okay, this is the one, this one has to go. Let's go on a tasting. You know what I mean? And then that way I can literally show people this is what it is. Like, I have 2 whiskeys sitting right here on my little thing. They're samples. And I think I already talked to y'all about the Oak and Eden, which is the whiskey bottle that has a spiral stave in it. And when I first got the bottle, I poured 2 ounces off the top of it. And then I aged it for like 3 months with that stave in there. And it is a difference. And I really enjoy sharing that with people. And like all these samples that I get, I really enjoy sampling other people's whiskey. So if you want to send me any whiskeys, hit me up. Whiskeyshamanpodcast@gmail.com. I would gladly take any samples that you have. I'll review them. Whatever you want me to do. Now, all that comes with a caveat, right? Because I got to be able to drink them. I got to, there's a lot going on with that. But, anywho, all right, I'm sorry. This was not the episode you were expecting, but this is the episode you got. If you have a collection, get into your collection, start drinking, or sharing, or sending out samples to people. Do all the things. I will tell you this, you cannot take it with you. You can try and sell it on secondary. I hate secondary market. I hate it with a passion. So, if you're like me, and you love sharing whiskey with people, find a group, share it. Sharing is caring. Showing is growing. And I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for all the support, all the love. Please continue to write reviews, 5-star please. Leave comments, and please go check out my YouTube, where on my YouTube I am going to do the Badmo Infinity Barrel, and then I will have a new segment coming up. And then I did a Whiskey 101 as well. Started it. I have it. It's an ongoing thing. I have different content on there, so just go check it out. Anyway, I appreciate everybody. I love you all very much, and thank you for the support. And I promise we will get more people in here, and we will just be living and loving. And remember, whiskey is happening around you. Go find it. Go be part of it. If you don't, it's going to pass you up if you don't. All right. Until next time, you know what to do. You know what? Let's see. No, I'm sorry. All right. Until next time, keep your spirits up. Peace.